Alhamdulillah, assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome one and all to another episode of Boys and Vices, or Vice and Voices, an online event organized by Mus'ab Ibn Umar Foundation that is currently being broadcast on Mus'ab Ibn Umar Foundation's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Our topic today, inshallah, is going to be marital intimacy. Marital intimacy, what is allowed? That is the name of our topic today. And our facilitator today and the speaker that will be taking us through this very important topic is none other than our Sheikh, Ustaz, Dr. Abdulfatah Adeyemi. Dr. Abdulfatah Adeyemi, for those that doesn't know him, he is a marriage counselor. He has been in the game of marriage counseling and an Islamic scholar whose career has been about most of it, or I would say most of what I know about him is mostly about marriage counseling and making sure that good families were raised from the beginning of the marriage up to when the marriage get to the children and the rest of the marital life. So without wasting much of our time, I will like to welcome our Sheikh, Sheikh Abdulfatah. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Jazakumullahu khairan for inviting me to come and share idea and experience with us tonight.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for blessing us with your presence here today, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, please, for those that are here, that joined us, please, I want you to comment if you can hear me and the Sheikh, so that we will know that our sound is clear before we continue, inshallah. And throughout the broadcast, if our sound is low or something like that, please do tell us through the comment so that we will know, inshallah. So Sheikh, without wasting much time, I think we are already a bit late.
No.
When it comes to marital intimacy, I don't know, where are we going to start? Are we going to start with the Shari view of what marital intimacy is, and maybe to understand Islamically, because when we look at it, when we look at it from Christian perspective, for example, some of them believe that marital intimacy is just there for bearing children, and it doesn't have to be anything other than that. So when it comes to Islam, how is marital intimacy viewed? Is it understood as something just for bearing children and the likes, or is it beyond that? So what is the view of Islamic Sharia or Islam when it comes to marital intimacy? But yes, marital intimacy itself. Sorry. Bismillah, Sheikh.
All right. Thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. It's good that we define it as marital intimacy, and the word intimacy is something that is very broad and very deep. Almighty Allah has created us as khulafa, that is, He has made us to be khalif of His on earth. When Allah said to the angels, Inni ja'ilu fil ardi khalifa, I want to place a vicegerent on earth. And Allah's intention with that is that there will be Adam and there will be his wife that Allah created, of course. And with the presence of the two of them, Almighty Allah made human beings to become plenty. Allah says, Summa idha antum basharun tantashirun. Then you become bashar, become human beings that are spreading all around. meaning that you are able to reprocreate and reproduce. So from Khilafa, we have the concept of wilaya, that is
Well, I think Sheikh is having a network problem. So bear with us, please, while Sheikh reconnect, because it seems that he's frozen.
Assalamu
You are
alaikum. Are
back,
you with
Sheikh.
me?
You can continue, inshallah.
Yes, thank you. There was a short break there. So, in other words, the place of intimacy in Sharia with regards to marriage is something that is very important. It is much deeper and wider
Sheikh,
than.
I'm not sure. It's like your sound is not clear.
Yes. Can you get my sound now? Can you hear me now? Yes, can you hear me now? Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you, but I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
we can hear you, Sheikh. You can continue, inshallah. You can continue.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is the concept of intimacy is encouraged. It is part of ibadah. There are so many ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ that support the fact that when a person does that with his wife or a woman does that with the husband, they are actually doing act of ibadah. So, wafil bud'i ibadatun, for a man and woman, that is husband and wife, to have intimacy together is also part of ibadah for them. So, in other words, generally we understand the concept of ibadah very well. Ibadah simply means service, or technically it means worship. So, ibadah in this regard means anything that is of service to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of obedience to Almighty Allah, keeping to the rules and regulations of the deen, is all act of ibadah. Ibadah can also be further divided into other aspects of, we say this is muamala, this is everyday practice and things like that. But what we understand broadly is that ibadah means service and obedience to Almighty Allah. So if Allah permits and Allah makes it to be a rule that a man and a woman cannot have intimacy unless they are legally married according to the Sharia, following such injunction of Almighty Allah is an act of ibadah on its own. So doing one's best in this regard is very, very encouraged. It is very important, and you do that solely for the sake of Almighty Allah, and you do it to the best of your ability. So in Islam, as against some other religion, there's no rahbaniyat in Islam. There's no celibacy in Islam. For a man to say he will not marry, for a woman to say she will not marry, that kind of thing doesn't exist in Islam. We also notice that getting married is one of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And you remember the story of the three Sahaba that went to visit the Prophet. They didn't meet him and they asked some questions. And one of them said, he will not marry again. And later the Prophet called all of the three of them and told them what he told them, especially the one that said he will not marry again. Prophet said, look, I am a prophet of Allah, yet I am married and I have wives. Meaning that having wife, getting married, for a man to have a wife, for a woman to have a husband, these are part of the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So that Sunnah and every other thing that comes in line with that Sunnah is encouraged, is acceptable, and it is something that has to be done to the best of one's ability. So number one, it is not a sin for husband and wife to do this together. Number two, it's not only for the procreation. If it is solely for reproduction, it means those people who cannot have children, that means they will not be able to marry. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Lillahi mulku samawati wal ard, yakhluqu ma yasha, yahabu liman yasha inathan, wa yahabu liman yasha dhukur, ayuzawijuhum dhukrana wa inathan, wa yaj'alu ma yasha akima. When it comes to having children, Almighty Ta'ala says He is the one that gives and creates as He wills. If He likes, He will give male to some people, He will give females to some people, and some people He will make them to be barren. So for those who Allah has made to be barren by Himself, that means they will not be allowed to marry, because we will say marriage is only for the procreation. But even if a woman is barren, she's still allowed in the Sharia to get married and still enjoy the intimacy that marriage permits for a believing man and a woman. So this is an indication that it is acceptable. It is not only for the procreation, it's also for whatever pleasure and enjoyment Allah has put in place there, because this activity also do a lot of psychological balancing in human emotions, the way Allah has created us. It is Allah's creation, and you cannot find any fault in the creation of Almighty Allah. So libido is one of the blessings that Allah has given to human beings. The same way Allah gave us the desire to eat food, the same way Almighty Allah gave us the shower to enjoy the presence of one another. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
Sorry, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair. If you can hear
Well,
me, inshallah, we can just continue while I'm trying to fix some sound issue I have from my side, because I cannot hear
okay.
you.
Oh, subhanallah.
Yes,
I can
so
hear
you
you
can,
loud
inshallah,
and
continue to
clear.
the next topic you think you should discuss while I try to connect my listeners.
All
You
right.
may go
Thank you
off
very much.
the
But,
system.
but I do hope that other people can hear me too. Assalamu alaikum. Can you all hear me?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry, there was a lot of distraction, which I was also trying to check my audio to be sure it's not from my side here. But I can hear you loud and clear. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, it was not actually.
Can every other person hear me?
Yes, the rest of the audience can hear you very well, Sheikh. So that is why I wanted you to
mashallah,
actually
excellent.
just continue with
All
the
right.
discussion. Unfortunately, I was almost unable to hear the discussion that you had before. But from what I understand, inshallah, you have already explained what Islamic stand is when it comes to marital intimacy.
Exactly.
So, Sheikh, when we look at when we come to what is happening in the world today, especially in the Islamic world and in Nigeria specifically, anyone that speaks with couples, especially from the sister side, and also brothers, will hear a lot of complaint from couples when it comes to marital intimacy. I said especially sisters because they are the ones that I personally hear from will be complaining that I'm not, I do not find what I'm looking for in marriage. I do not find enough intimacy from my husband. My husband is doing this. So we will get a lot of complaints from sisters. So Sheikh, can you please explain to the brothers, especially the husbands, their responsibility when it comes to fulfilling the desires of their wives? Because many times when marriage and marital intimacy is being discussed, it sometimes focuses on sisters. A hadith will be cited, and but the brothers are not being told what to do and what their responsibilities are when it comes to their wives. So, Sulasha.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan. From what we have seen from experiences, when people get married, a lot of expectations are there. It is not expected that before marriage that they will have had sex. That is just the basic thing. Islam will prefer that a person will do that for the first time when they get married. But things are a lot more complicated nowadays. We do a lot of lectures to ladies. They learn a lot of things, but the brothers don't seem to. Nobody bothers much about them because everybody expects a brother to just, automatically know what he's supposed to. Automatically understand how to be intimate with a woman. We have been so disappointed when it comes to that. Although it is both ways. But let me tell you about human nature, the shower of some people. There are some brothers who don't have shower for women at all. They don't have that orientation that this is how to keep a woman company. If you lock some brothers inside the room with their wives, they don't know what to do with their wives. And people assume that because he knows how to quote from Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, people expect that he's supposed to know how to satisfy a woman. So for some, it's a matter of ignorance. They don't know how to do this thing. They never learned how to do it. Nobody ever taught them during the ta'lim. Nobody ever organized IVC where brothers are trained about how to do this. Everybody is like hush, hush, hush. People are shy. The sheikhs and the scholars are sensitive of nine. But when it comes to intimacy with their wives, some of the brothers, astaghfirullah, they score like between 0 to 0/10 when it comes to this matter. In other words, some people is just ignorance. He doesn't know. And because this ignorance becomes too much, some brothers begin to look for ways of learning secretly without telling anybody. So some brothers get exposed to pornography in this regard. He's curious, he wants to know, he wants to see how it is done. Nobody's going to take him serious if he's asking the masjid. Everybody will laugh at him. So some brothers, unfortunately, they go into pornography to say they want to go and learn. In the process of trying to learn, they get addicted and it backfires. It becomes counterproductive. For some, like I mentioned earlier on, they just don't have the natural shower, they don't have the natural libido. Their libido is very low. They don't want to have anything to do with one brother in law supposed to sleep with a woman. Now he's married, but he doesn't know any difference. It is beyond his power and capability to be able to come back to the reality of the fact that he's now a married man. Some of them, naturally, the shower, the libido is not there, to the extent that some brothers will tell you that they even try to avoid their wives sometimes. Then it happens the other way around too. Some ladies, a particular lady once told me that she had been married for 8 months now and she didn't allow her husband to touch her. Why? She said she just doesn't feel like. And the only time the husband ever touched her, it was as if he was raping her because she was afraid what is going to happen. She was not sure how this thing is supposed to be done. They told her it's going to be very painful because she was still a virgin as at that time. They said it was going to be painful. They said she was going to bleed. And the whole thing was so irritating to her. When we did a lot of discussion with her, we realized that, you see, she told us a story of herself. She said when she was like 8 years old, that time she was like in primary two or primary three, that time. She said she came back from school in the afternoon. It was a day school. They allowed them to close early before closing time. So a neighbor brought her home from school. And as she got home, she entered straight into her parents' room and she met them having sex together. They didn't lock the door because they were not expecting her to be back that early. She said the sight of what she saw, father and mother, and the smell that came from that room as she entered, that she vowed to herself that she would never do this kind of thing. Something inside her mentality, something inside her psychology just switched off like that, and she began to hate anything that has to do with that. She felt so guilty for having witnessed such a thing, for entering and meeting them like that. The kind of embarrassment she saw on the faces of the parents really made her to, to like switch off. So for a very long time, she was inhibited. She didn't want to have anything to do with any man. And as at the time she was getting married, she thought it was going to be easy. But look at it, she got married 8 months after. She was still afraid of having to do anything with the husband. It took a lot of, lecture, a lot of therapy, a lot of advice and admonition before she was able to come out of it. And she had to like close her eyes so that her husband would just do whatever he had to do. Now, up till now, according to her and her husband, she doesn't derive any pleasure from the activity. She only just does it because they say she should do it if she wants to have children. So people have different stories to tell. People have so many things that have happened to them. And because of that, we cannot be 100% sure that every human being on earth is predisposed to marital or sexual intimacy with their husband or with their wife. The way we have it with the men, like I said, we also have it with the women too. But unfortunately, the other way around, some people's libidos are so high to the extent that one brother once told us that there's no day that he doesn't feel like sleeping with his wife, and the wife doesn't have that kind of energy to carry that. And that is minimum of one time in one day. Minimum of one time in one day. he will make intimacy with the wife. The wife was complaining. The wife is tired. The wife is confused. If she wants to go to work in the morning, he has to do it with her. When she comes back in the evening, he has to do it with her. He might even wake up in the night and he will still do intimacy with her. This has been a lot of problem for her. But this brother say he has very high shower. Now we say, okay, if your wife is not enough for you, why don't you marry another woman? He says it's just a primary school teacher. He doesn't have the means of marrying another wife. Now you see, it's a fitna for some people that their libidos are very, very high. It's a fitna for some people also that their libidos are very, very low. In between is what we can say is normal, but normalcy is very difficult to even define. So even when a person is a Muslim, a person can still have this challenge in one form or the other. And may Almighty Allah have mercy on us. Some people is just sickness, they are sick, they are not well. And some people it is psychological. He has some their own by virtue of drugs. Is anybody who is taking drugs, I mean drug addiction, it can also affect their shower and their performance with their wives. So many ladies have truly complained that they are not satisfied with their husbands, and their complaints are true and their complaints are real. Intimacy is almost, let me just exaggerate, is 80% of marriage. Intimacy is 80% of marriage. Because if you're a human being and you can feel hungry for food, then this other hunger for intimacy is real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put it in place like that. May Allah continue to guide us right.
I mean, yeah, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for this very all-encompassing answer. So part of what you mentioned while answering the question I asked, you mentioned the issue that some people doesn't even know because of, I think maybe because of the way that we are brought up in the Islamic society and in Nigeria especially. Marital intimacy or intimacy itself, or just expressing the desire and the desire to have any relationship with the opposite gender is something that is being frowned upon. So for that reason, so many people just shut it off. It becomes something that they just shut it off, that by the time that they get married, and it is something that they are allowed to do now, it has become something that is part of it. It is not something that they really care about because they shut it off.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
they train their body to not even have any desire, or they have been
Yes.
told that okay, expressing that desire
It's
is
haram.
so. Yes. So the question I have is, Sheikh, is it that it is haram to have those desires, or it is in Islam, having those desires haram, or even nurturing those desires without falling into haram? Is it haram for one to not just shut it off, and so that shut it up to the extent that he will not even have any desire anymore, especially sisters. So is having those desires
No.
haram, and is shutting it off completely to the extent that one will not have any desire also a solution to the issue? I hope you understand my question,
Okay.
Sheikh.
Yes, I understand it very well. Having this desire is not haram because that's the way Allah has created us. It is part of our fitra. It's part of our nature as human beings. You see, by the time a person grows to a certain age during adolescence, this desire becomes very high that sometimes a man will even have what we call a natural emission. He will have what we call wet dream. Some ladies also have similar thing, wet dream. What we got wrong, may Allah forgive us, is that rather than make somebody to shut it up, a person should only control it. You see, we are not angels. We are not created like angels, and we are not created like animals either. We have been created with fitra, with senses, and with the ability to control certain things. We have been told to control. For example, remember the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ya mashara shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj, faman la falyasum, fa inna as-sawma lahu waja." Prophet said, "Oh, you men, young people that are capable of getting married, go ahead and get married. But if you can't, then you should fast, because fasting will act as a shield for you. Meaning that the prophet recognized the fact that, look, there is to control it. Do you remember also, Almighty Allah has made it to be that during fasting, a man will not have access to his wife in the daytime, but at night, Allah says, "Uhilla lakum laylata siyam rafathun ila nisaikum, hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna." That the night in the month of Ramadan has been made a time for you to move close to your wife, and for your wife to move close to the husband. Meaning that you are only to control it in the daytime, but you unleash it again at night. So let us learn very well that it is natural, it is halal for you to have this desire, for you to have this shower. That is part of the plan of Almighty Allah as we grow, as we develop in life. And when it is time for marriage also, the Quran generally says, "La taqrabu zina," don't move close to zina. We call it zina because it is done with the person you are not married to. But when you are married to a person, it becomes halal, it becomes ibadah. Now, let me quickly mention what I think we can do about this, because traditionally and religiously, everybody frown upon this. Even when they see you talking to a lady, people say, no, you are not supposed to, haram, don't talk to a lady. When a sister is developing certain crush for a brother, a sister says, I really like that brother, I wish he would be my husband. People say, keep quiet, why are you talking like that? Everybody is free to have their desires. Everybody is free to. In fact, it is normal for you to want to desire the opposite sex. If you don't have that desire, it means something is wrong. But what I think we should do is this. You remember earlier on, I said it's an act of ibadah. The way we learn other acts of ibadah, we are supposed to learn this other aspect of ibadah too. The way we learn how to make salat correctly, the way we learn how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha with tajweed, the way we learn to recite the glorious Quran in the best way, the way we learn to practice the Sunnah of the Prophet, the Sunnah of eating, the Sunnah of drinking, the Sunnah of wearing your dress, the Sunnah of saying Bismillah in everything you want to do. I believe strongly that this is another very important Sunnah that we're supposed to learn. We should not think that because you have taught somebody, then the person will now get loose. It doesn't work like that. The Quran normally asks, "Hal yastawi alladhina ya'lamuna wal ladhina la ya'lamun?" Will you compare the person that knows with somebody who doesn't know? Knowledge is not only the knowledge of fiqh, is not only the knowledge of other muamalat. This particular aspect of life, knowledge is also very important in it. We only want it to be that people will not abuse the knowledge. If you know very well that this thing is halal for you, you know very well that you are going to enjoy this thing very well when you get married, you will most likely be able to wait until when you get married so that you can benefit from the halal that Allah has made to be lawful for you. So my own suggestion to this is this, and I want our brothers and sisters to please help us to think very deeply about this matter. Don't wait until people have to go and learn from pornography. Let us have what we call a gender session, where the ladies will be taught about this matter and the brothers will also be taught to discuss about this matter. People have different shower and they have different level of how this thing affects them. Let people be able to express themselves that, look, me, I'm feeling like this. And we should be able to advise that if you feel like this is what you should do. Or if you are feeling like this, it's because you are doing so and so things. Do you know that some of the things we eat sometimes they increase our libido? Drinking yogurt and too much ice cream and other dairy products, some people have said it increases libido in them. And eating certain food can also kill people's libido. So we are supposed to know, we are supposed to learn. Let there be opportunities for brothers to learn and opportunities for sisters to learn so that they can know how to, how to control themselves. Let me tell you something, Brother Yasser. One brother once called me. This happened about 6 years ago. The brother told me when he wanted to get married, Alhamdulillah, everybody was happy. May Allah put al-barakah in it for you. But something happened. The day he got married, the following day by Subui, he called me to ask that, Ustaz, there's a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said he couldn't do anything with his wife because he doesn't know what to do. That he has been married for 10 years and he doesn't know what to do.
Subhanallah, I think Sheikh is having network problem again because we can't hear him. So before Sheikh come back, a brother just posted something asking why discuss this issue. Do we not have anything better to discuss? I think this is something very important, brother. I don't know if you are somebody who listen to people who couples come on to and ask questions. You will understand that this is a very important topic in our society. It's a topic that we had been running away from discussing, and it is something that is causing a lot of problems. We have seen many sisters who fall into fitna because their husbands cannot satisfy their desires, and we have seen many brothers that are always complaining about why their husbands, why their wives are not able to reach the level of what they want. And lack of this type of discussion is what is causing this. So it's not something bad to discuss. The Prophet ﷺ, Sheikh just mentioned other hadiths that shows that Prophet ﷺ validate people's desire. Prophet ﷺ mentioned many hadiths about marital intimacy. So it is not something. It is not a taboo topic. There are many books written by scholars like Imam Suyuti and other scholars about marital intimacy. So it is not something bad. It is not something haram. People like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, all have written something about this. So we are not discussing something that is bad. We are discussing something that is part of Islam and something that will bring understanding between husbands and their wives. So please hope this answered the question. Sorry, Sheikh. There was a brother that mentioned that commented. He said, "Don't you people have better issues to discuss?" Haba. So that is the person that I'm responding to. Maybe you can include him in the discussion. So, Sheikh, you can continue.
Yeah.
Inshallah, you are telling us about a brother that got married when your connection cut out.
Yes. So he got married, and honestly, Brother Yasir, honestly, he didn't know what to do. Now, for some of us who have an idea of what we can do, well, we are lucky because maybe we grew up in an environment, or we have been able to meet some people that will have, discussed this thing with us or mentioned this thing with us, or some of us could have been, we could have read it up in some books here and there. But this brother, honestly, he was being very honest. He told me that he didn't even know what to do. He didn't know where he's supposed to enter or he's supposed to go about it. Unfortunately, or fortunately for him, the lady too has never met any man before. So he was telling me, Ustaz, what am I supposed to do? So I told him that, look, this is not a matter of telephone. Just take it easy. Don't be nervous. Calm your wife down also, and let us meet so that I can refer you to somebody who can, put you through what you are supposed to do with yourself. Alhamdulillah, they live happily now, and alhamdulillah, everything is okay. Now, with regards to why we are discussing this, if I may quickly add, you may know something, or don't think other people know what you know. And this matter, one of the reasons why I'm very happy that we are discussing it is I've been doing marital counseling for close to 25 years now. And I can authoritatively tell you that majority of the problems that we have surround this matter of sexual intimacy. Majority of the problems we have. There's something that we call orgasm. There's something that we call foreplay. There's something we call plateauing. There's something we call coming down from the plateau. There are many things that are terms and terminologies that go alongside with sexual intimacy. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, then you know. There's no need for people to hide what they don't know and pretend as if all is well. Some brothers, I must confess to you, they don't know how to, pet a woman, how to turn a woman on, how to make her to be in the mood, how to send messenger, like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say, how to send messenger, that is to, get her interested, get her, warmed up, let her feel wet, let her feel ready for the intimate activity. There's a whole lot of, where should you touch? What does she feel if you touch her like this? How does it feel if you show her like this? All of these things are things some brothers don't know. But please permit me to also mention that as a lady, there's nothing wrong if you teach your husband where he should touch, how he should handle you, and how you wish to be, to be intimate with. A lady too may need to explain once in a while, like my husband, I enjoy it when you touch me like this. I'm happy when you are patient with me to this extent. Some brothers have problem of what we refer to as premature ejaculation. These are some of the sexual dysfunctions that people have. Premature ejaculation is when the man cannot stay for longer than 1 minute with his wife before he finishes himself. This is also treatable in the hospital. If you approach the doctors, they can recommend some medications if the cause has to do with that. Some therapists can also teach you how you can slow down so that you will be able to also satisfy your wife. She's a human being too. She also has the right to that satisfaction. Orgasm is something that some women have never experienced, possibly because their men are not patient enough for them. Sometimes also the man may be patient, but he might be going about this thing wrongly. Maybe the wife is not properly, turned on in the beginning. Some ladies like it that you should smell nice if you want to turn them on. They like it that you should use nice perfume. They like that you should take a shower. They like that you should bath. They like you that you should make it to be spontaneous. They like it for you to play around them before you begin to do this. So a man needs to understand all of these things. And let me quickly mention to you also that Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, Nisa'ukum haruthul lakum fa'tu haruthakum anna shi'tum. Your wives are like farmlands for you. Go to your farmland whenever you want. Now, you have to understand, if we take it practically, what kind of farmland do you have in your wife? Is she a fish farm or a poultry farm or an animal farm or a crop farm? What kind of farmland is she? You have to understand, if she's a poultry farm, you don't give her the food you give to fish, as in fish farm. You don't give them the same food, and you don't approach your fish farm the way you approach your crop farm. In other words, there must be that understanding without any shame, without any shyness, that understanding between husband and wife to say, okay, this is how I want to be touched. This is how I want you to come into me. This is how long I want you to stay with me, to keep me company, to make me happy, to turn me on. These are the kind of things I like you to do for me so that I can be readily available for you. These brothers, I want you to please, be patient and listen to your women, and don't judge them to say, how did you learn all of these things? Who taught you how to do that? How did you know about this position? Some brothers get angry because of that. Their wives don't even like to tell them anything. A woman also has the right to invite you as a brother, to tell you, look, I need you. I want you to come and have intimacy with me. She has the right. You can't judge her or look down on her because she's asking for it. And a man is not supposed to abandon his wife. For example, when the Prophet ﷺ was asked, what are the duties of some of us to our wives? And the Prophet responded, number one, أن تطعمها إذا طعمت وتكسوها إذا اكتسيت ولا تضرب الوجه ولا تهجر إلا في البيت ولا تقبح ولا تهجر إلا في البيت. They said, Ya Rasulullah, tell us. Prophet said, number one, feed her when you feed yourself, clothe her when you clothe yourself. Don't hit her in the face. Don't despise her. Don't hate her. And don't abandon her, except in the house. Meaning that abandonment of a woman is something that is very, very serious. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul, they take it very, very seriously. So sexual abandonment is also there. Don't abandon your wife sexually. You have to be present in her bedroom at least once every 4 days. once in every 4 days. That is provided if you have 4 wives, at least one day for each of your wife. It is the job of the man to ensure that he satisfies his woman. Some things may make a man not to be able to do so. Maybe the nature of his job, maybe he travels a lot, maybe he's not always around, and maybe when he's around, he has too much on his head, maybe he has too much obligations, maybe he's broke and he's trying to make ends meet, maybe he has parents and families that are dependent upon him. This can really disturb the mind of a man a lot. If such is the situation, let the man also find ways of relieving himself of these extra duties. Don't let your wife's own matter be, secondary. When you have finished exhausting yourself throughout the day, then the remaining part of it that remains, you now want your wife to manage it like that. It doesn't always work that way, unless you don't understand that marriage is mithaqon ghaliza, a very strong covenant between a man and a woman, and your wife has right over you, and you must be able to give her that right. Even if you are going to enroll where you are going to be taught on how to do this, it is very essential and very important for a man to learn how to do these things. If there's any diet you need to do to increase your power, sexual prowess, go ahead and do diet. Eat some good food that can give you the energy to carry out this activity successfully with your wife. A man can have more than one wife if his libido is very high, but a woman cannot have more than one husband, no matter how high her libido is. I hope you understand. Meaning that it's the responsibility is very high for a man to ensure that he satisfies his wife as much as he can. And I pray Allah will make it easy for us.
I mean, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for this. So, Sheikh, something I also wanted to ask, and you touched a little bit about it, is the issue of communication and the matter of shyness when it comes to communication. You will find that brothers can be bold, especially when they are used to their spouses. They become bold and they can tell them anything, they can say anything to them. But you'll find that the sisters are always find it hard to communicate to the brothers because of two things. Maybe you mentioned one, that the husband may consider that, how did you know this? Where did you learn it? And all of that. And the other thing is because of the culture that they are told that they have to be shy. So when it comes to marriage, is there anything to be shy about? And when the wife is bold enough to ask, what should the husband do? I think even though you touch it, I think it should be should have its own segment.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yes, the shyness is there and the fear is also there. Some ladies are afraid of their husbands. I want us to understand that there are so many aspects of fiqh, but the fiqh of bedroom is totally different from other aspects of fiqh. A woman can be very shy during the daytime. That shyness should not affect her relationship with her husband. When you are both in the bedroom, the shyness is only something of moderation, because this is a very important sunnah, and you cannot say you are shy. You cannot carry out this sunnah. Is there somebody saying, no, I'm very shy, I cannot speak in public, and it's time to call adhan, you say you can't call adhan? You have to call adhan now. And when it comes to observing salat, you cannot say you are shy to recite the Quran with tajweed as a man. You say, come and lead us in salat, you say you are shy. It's your duty as a Muslim man to be able to lead prayer at any point in time. So when it comes to bedroom matters, bedroom business, I want ladies to find ways of communicating with their husbands. And some men can get it easily, but some men, they don't understand at all. Take for instance now, Brother Yasir. Let's say a lady she rubs her powder, she rubs her perfume for the husband, she plait her hair, maybe she spent like 4 hours plaiting her hair, making it look very beautiful. Maybe she went to those who make, they made some beautiful design on her hand, just to show the husband. She cleans the bedroom, she changes the sheet, everything just looking best, everything looking very nice, clean and neat, and she's smelling very wonderful. She prepared the best food for the husband to enjoy himself with, and then she brings it to the bedroom. Yet this man doesn't understand that this lady wants something. This is what else do you want that woman to say? How else do you want her to say it? Some ladies, because of shyness, they may not come all out to say, "My husband, come and sleep with me." No, no lady will talk like that. No lady will talk to say, "My husband, come and sleep with me." No, they have other ways of saying. So some ladies, they are so shy, they cannot verbalize, they cannot say with their mouth, but their actions, the way she's smiling, the way she's touching you, the way she has removed her hijab in the bedroom for you to see, and she will just do her hair like this for you to see the new hair she has made. All of these things, some ladies just want to communicate to say, "My husband, I need you." Some ladies will say, "I'm feeling cold this night." Some ladies will say, I really want you to come and hold me, or I want you to come and touch me. Some of them will be cracking jokes with you. Some of them will be touching you. For those of us who have beards, some of them will be, trying to um, use hand instead of comb for our beards. And that way, you know that it's like this lady really wants to come very close to me, especially when some of them are in their time of ovulation. Naturally they feel very, very horny, wanting to come close to their husband. And look at you, Mr. Husband, you look very fine, you are very good looking, everybody respects you, you do your ibadah. This lady is turned on whenever you do tahajjud. She loves it because you just resemble the Sahaba when you recite the glorious Quran. She's so turned on, she's so horny, she wants you to come close to her. So whenever you see this kind of things, please, brother, don't turn the woman away. Don't abandon her. وَلَا تَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. Don't treat her like someone that's hanging somewhere and you don't have any time for her. As for those who, I'm sure some brothers have now learned now, when their wives are behaving in some of those very attractive ways, it means she wants intimacy. Some ladies, they will pretend to be sick because their husbands will not touch them unless they are sick. It is so bad. Some ladies will pretend to be sick. She say, "I'm feeling headache here. I'm feeling back something here. Please help me rub something on my back." She'll be saying those things so that the man can come closer to her. Please, brothers, any language that these ladies speak, please try to understand that the way you need her, she also needs you. And that's why the Quran says, "Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna." It is 50-50. We both need one another. But if as a lady, you now see that your husband doesn't even understand anything, please go ahead and tell him straight, "My husband, I'm feeling very horny and I want us to do something tonight." Send text message to him when he's at work and say, "Abu, please, so I need you to come back home early because I have something special for you." Or you should tell him, "Abu, please don't use too much energy because you are going to need it this night." Something like that. Let couples crack jokes, let them express some, love things, send text messages to her, to him, let him know that you need him and you desire him. The way we have said this, it goes the other way around too. A man too should feel free to invite the wife to bed in a very honorable and very lovely manner by sending messages, buy her gift, smile towards her, make her feel happy, brush your teeth in case you may need to kiss her so that you will not vomit because your mouth is smelling. You too, you need to look nice for your wife too. I read of one Sahaba who used to comb his hair and comb his beard whenever he wanted to go in to visit his wives. And he said, "But why are you doing this?" He said, "Don't you know that they also have the right to see us look good the way we want to see them looking good?" So let the brother also find ways of presenting the matter to the wife. Not just for you to just be smiling and smiling and she's wondering what is wrong with you. No, let her know that, "Look, my darling, I really have desire for you tonight. Let's just play. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy ourselves." Those kind of things. So communication is very important. Whether verbal or non-verbal, let husband and wife understand each other's language, each other's form of communication, so that they will be able to practice this sunnah that is very, very important. It is humanistic, it is normal, it is natural, it is approved by Almighty Allah. It is not a sin when husband and wife do this together. Rather, they are going to be rewarded for it. And that is why the Prophet said, when husband and wife do this together, Allah will reward them. And the Sahaba said, "Ya Rasulullah, how will Allah reward us when we enjoy ourselves?" The Prophet said, "Don't you know that if you do it with the wrong person, you'll be punished? Similarly, if you do it with the right person, you are going to be rewarded." So any act that brings about reward, we need to take it very seriously. And may Allah make it easy for us.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Something I wanted to ask also, maybe to add to this, is the matter of maybe the husband or the wife is doing something that the husband doesn't want when it comes to intimacy. So, and the husband, and maybe the wife, especially wife, will tell the husband that, okay, this is how I want it, and this is how I don't want it. Sometimes the husbands will feel like the wives are correcting them or something like that. So when it comes to marriage, would the wives also allowed to demand what they feel like, what they feel is what they want, or is it something wrong for them to do that?
No, nothing is wrong with them to do that. They are free to ask for what they want and how they want it. The only thing they should not want is for the husband to have anal intercourse with them. What I mean by that is for a husband to enter into her through the place where she passes out feces. But whatever condition, whatever position that she desires, it is halal for her. And I hope husbands will understand this. I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that, okay, why would you be telling a woman to ask for this, ask for that? Look, everything about bedroom matter is halal, except what Allah and His Rasul have made to be haram. Including the sexual positions. It is not for unbelievers, it's not for sinners. It is for believers too when they are married. If there's any positioning that your wife says, look, I enjoy it when we do it like this, I prefer when we do it like that, brother, please experiment. Don't be too rigid. Don't. This is not a matter of okay, yes, I don't want it. I'm telling you, this is ibadah. And if it is ibadah and you know Allah is going to reward you for it, you better do it very well and please Allah. You know, do ibadah for the sake of Allah, satisfy your wife. The smile in the face of your wife the following day because she was really satisfied is reward for you. Allah is going to bless you for that. It's not a child's play, it's not a joke thing. So I don't know, Brother Yasser, whether I'm correct or not. It seems some of our ladies are even better educated than brothers about this matter. Or am I right or am I wrong? It seems our ladies
very, very
understand.
true, Sheikh.
It seems our ladies understand this a lot.
I have a story of a sister that comes to me. She's a very close family member, and she complained because she complained to the elders, and they were not able to listen to her, and she complained to me about it. And I'm able to discuss it with the husband, in explaining to him his responsibility, while his wife is asking for divorce because of lack of dissatisfaction when it comes to marital intimacy. But still, and the sister was telling me that, okay, I will go on Islamic websites that talk about this. I'll find articles that explain how to do these things. I'll give him my phone. I will show him how to do it. I will tell him this is this. Let us try this. Let us try this. And he don't want to try anything. He don't want to do anything. He feels like all he needs to do is go out and get some medicine from the street and drink it, and maybe it will be enough. And I explained to the brother that that is not really what matters. What matters is for you to listen to the wife herself, to know what she really wants from you, and do it. If she like it, you like it, it continues. If it is something that she doesn't like, then you change and experiment on something else. So personally, I agree with you, Sheikh, that I believe that the sisters are more educated when it comes to these matters than us, because they learn it. They go on groups, on WhatsApp group for the sisters. They even, I know a group where sisters paid money to learn these things. But I don't think I've ever seen brothers go on to learn anything, not even to ask those that are married before them. Many brothers don't even care to ask that, okay, this person is married. He married before me. I'm going to get married next time. Let me ask this brother, how am I going to go about this? Some people ask, but some people doesn't really do. So it is very important, Sheikh, for you to advise more the brothers on when it comes to this issue.
Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Thank you very much. Now you see why some ladies they fight with their husbands when their husbands are talking about marrying second wife. This lady, they get angry, they fight, they resist it, they avoid it. Possibly also because they know this man cannot even satisfy me. He doesn't even know how to satisfy me, talk less of satisfy another woman. And these women are afraid, they see like hell that now I'm not going to be the only woman to suffer. Another wife is going to marry will also suffer in this kind of thing. So I want to advise brothers, and I think we need to rejuvenate this matter again. Many things are going wrong nowadays. Before now, ladies were undereducated. Now, ladies have been well educated. Before now, ladies were not allowed to earn a living. Now, ladies earn 4 times what their husbands are earning. Now, it is also getting worse now that ladies also know a lot more about intimacy and their husbands are not making effort to learn. We have to change this paradigm. We have to change this mindset. I think I want to suggest humbly to you, our brothers and sisters out there, that we should begin to organize more discussion for the brothers to be able to know how to go about this matter for those who have problems in this regard. Some brothers, the opposite is their problem. They cannot make themselves to be satisfied with only their wives. We have a lot of problems of immorality now. We have problems of infidelity going on around now. We have problems of men abandoning their wives and looking around for other ladies that are not even married to them. And sometimes they can't even marry these ladies. We've seen brothers who do these things online. Some of them go into pornography. They expose themselves. They snap their nude pictures, send to these women. Some women also send back to them. All of these things are perversions. We want everybody to find true satisfaction within marriage as approved by the Sharia. So long as you're a Muslim, you should know that your wife is the one that Allah has made to be lawful for you. I want to encourage brothers. If you think your wife is not good enough to satisfy you, please teach her. Teach her. Let her know what to do. Teach her how you want her to behave. Teach her so long as it is not haram, so long as you are not going to enter into her in haram way, and so long as you are not going to make life to be difficult for her. Teach her and let her know the kind of things you want. If we can fear Almighty Allah in this regard, then both ways will be able to adjust ourselves. But like we just observe now, some brothers also need to be taught where to touch, what to do, her chest, her breast, how she feels about it when you touch it, other part of her body, how she feels about it when you touch them. These are things that the way we learn Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, the way we read Riyadus Salihin, the way we do tafsir of Surah to this and that, the way we recite Surah Al Kaf on Jumat, we should also learn to understand this amongst ourselves. Let some who know teach those who do not know within the limits of what is approved in modesty and in morality. If you're able to do this and you enjoy your wife, then you are going to be rewarded for the activity. So the way women, they are not shy to discuss these things amongst themselves. I want brothers too to stop being shy in discussing this matter. If as a brother you notice that your libido is very low, it is something that can be treated. There are medical experts that can make recommendation for you, dietary recommendation, medication recommendation, and maybe exercise also. Some brothers don't even do any sports, they don't do any exercise. They think once they do tahajjud, it's okay. No, you also have to be fit as a brother. Please, no brother is too brotherly to play football. No brother, no imam is too imam stick for him to do a sport activity. You should be able to sprint, you should be able to jog, you should be able to jump, you should be able to engage in sport activities. Even some of us who are very busy sometimes, we still take time to go and play golf. We walk for 4 hours so that we can be strong enough for ibadah, and we are strong enough for the intimate aspect of our religion. So I want to encourage brothers, do exercise, eat well, and learn very well. Take this matter very, very seriously. The ibadah that you do for tahajjud is one aspect, and the one you do with your wife is another aspect. All of these are ibadahs that will be accepted by Almighty Allah. So, like we said, brothers, let us create a special ta'lim that will be brothers only, so that we can learn these things. And if you cannot do this, you can attend a Muslim counselor can, counsel you and your wife together in the areas where both of you need to learn together. I hope you understand. There's no shyness in what you don't know. You can't compare those who know to those who do not know. May Allah let us be among those that have knowledge. Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Something I also want to ask. Is the issue of a brother will go out maybe sometime and find that he saw, or a sister also may see somebody wearing something she like or doing something she like, and will suggest that the husband do maybe wear that type of clothes that she like, or the husband will suggest that the wife wear that type of clothes that she likes, and sometimes you'll find that the other person will maybe not want to do it. Will
take offense.
So is it the responsibility? Is it the responsibility of the spouse to fulfill or to do to be what the other person wants? Is it their responsibility? If I saw something, is it the responsibility of my spouse to be that for me, or is it something that is against?
Yes, the biggest room for improvement, and the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. No matter how good you are, you can still be better. No matter how much you have learned, you can still learn more. No matter how good looking you are, you can still look better than that. I want us to be open-minded and see that we improve our lives. I hope we understand. For example, when it comes to wearing perfumes or dressing well, the way men want their ladies to dress well, ladies also want their men to dress well. They want a brother to be well put together. Maybe that's what even attracted her to him in the first place. She saw that, yes, this one is well dressed. He presented himself well. He spoke very softly, as in by the time he's trying to marry her. You see, he's a gentleman. He's just on point. But after marriage, he just abandons all of those things and begin to dress like mashed potato. Somebody that was well dressed before, he now dresses as if he's helping people to chase goats. This is not nice. It is tormenting for your wife. So your wife has the right. She can say, my husband, I want you to wear this cap. This cap can match this dress more. Or I want you to wear these glasses. I want you to wear this kind of shoes. Some ladies even go all out of their ways to buy shoes for their husbands. They say, look, my husband, you have been wearing this one shoe for the past 10 years. Please, I bought another one for you. So a man should be happy, and he should be grateful to Allah that Allah has given him this kind of wife that looks out to what is best for him. This is not a matter of your wife comparing you with somebody else. I hope we will not get this wrong, and I hope men will also not get this thing wrong. Sometimes it can backfire if the woman doesn't present it well. Take, for instance, it happened at a time that a lady came to meet me because they had some serious quarrels, and when I asked them to explain, the husband asked the wife to speak first. The wife also asked the husband to speak first. So they were pushing it to one another. Until I said, okay, please tell me precisely what is the problem. And you know what the problem was, Brother Yasir? What the brother got angry over was that the sister, the wife asked the husband to keep his beard. And that when he keeps his beard, he should be combing it. That was only the thing that the husband got angry with. When the anger now became so much was when the wife said he should leave his bed like that Ustaz. She mentioned the name of the Ustaz. And so the husband took offense. He was so angry that how can you compare me to that Ustaz? Okay, go and marry the Ustaz now, instead of telling me to that my beard must look like that his own. It became a very big. I don't want to mention the name of the Ustaz. Many of you know him, so I will keep his name to myself. But the lady said, why don't you dress like that particular Ustaz? Why don't you keep your beard? Don't you see the way he normally comb his beard? So you can imagine how that became a problem. Maybe the lady was just innocently trying to give example, and the brother misunderstood the whole thing. I know it can happen the other way around too. If a brother says, my wife, I want you to be dressing well, be wearing hijab, the way Sister Zainab used to wear her own hijab. Then the sister will be like, oh, so you have been looking at Sister Zainab for you to know that she normally wears socks, for you to know that she normally wear hand gloves. So some of these things sometimes can just backfire. But you know one thing about marriage, it's a lot of understanding. You have to be matured enough for marriage. Marriage is for matured minds, and you should be able to overlook some things. You should be able to tolerate some things. We should also learn how to present things to ourselves. You know, if we go this way, we should go that way too. Let's know how to present things to ourselves. Don't talk to your husband as if you don't want him to have his own sense of identity. Don't talk to your husband as if you want him to look like a particular brother that you admire. Talk to him in such a way that he will understand that this is just your desire and it's just his suggestion. If possible, don't refer to any particular brother concerning the way you want him to look or the way you want him to appear or the kind of things you want him to be doing for you. And I want brothers also to be very sensitive to this. Don't say, can't you see Sister Aisha? Look at Sister Maryam. Look at Sister Zainab. Look at the way they dress. Look at the way they talk. Look at the way they appear. No, it can be very, very annoying. So let brothers also be very sensitive to this about one another. But in a nutshell, there's absolutely nothing wrong. We are supposed to be mirror to one another. In fact, some of us, let me boast to you now. Some of us, when we dress in the morning, we don't look at the mirror. We just ask our wives, what do you think? So you look at it now, what do you think? Does this cap match this dress? And they'll say, yes, I think it's cool like that, something like that. So it's part of the enjoyment of marriage for husband and wife to look after each other, to be concerned about each other, and to suggest what is good for one another. Like those of us who are brothers, some of us we are not too good at dressing at all. We don't know what it means to dress well. Once we are married, we don't bother at all again. But you are very lucky if you have a wife that knows what is going on out there. If you have a wife that can look at you and say, yes, you look very handsome today. Or look, I want you to always wear this, your jalabia. It's really excellent. Or I want you to stop wearing this jalabia that you have been wearing for the past 5 years. Stop wearing this dirty jalabia to the masjid. Wear a neater one or a cleaner one. There's no big deal there now. We are all brothers and sisters as much as we are husband and wife. So let us be tolerant, let us be understanding, and let us chill. Let us just cool down. Take it easy. You don't know everything. You should just let your wife tell you if you are wrong sometimes. May Allah make it easy for us to do the best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Meanwhile,
Jazakallah khair. So, brothers and sisters that are with us, please, if you have questions, please do post it in the questions in the comment on Facebook and in the chat on YouTube. Please ask your questions. If there are things that you want us to discuss that we did not touch on, please ask it so that we can include it before the time, because I think we are almost at the end of the discussion itself. So, Sheikh, before we get maybe questions from the audience, I want to ask something very specifically that I see many people talking about. Many brothers, husband will ask about it, or the wife will ask about it, and the other one will say it is haram or something like that. So I want to ask about it specifically. That is when it comes to oral sex, oral sex. So is it haram? Is it halal? What can we say is the Islamic rule, or what is the opinion of Ustaz on this specific matter?
Okay, yes, oral sex is part of what we indulge in. Some people have fantasy about it. And we have not read specifically that it is haram for couples to indulge in this. The only time it can be haram is when they want to have children, but they decide to do it that way. You know, if you want to have children, you should know that doing it that way is not a way to have children. It's not a way to impregnate a woman. I hope nobody gets that wrong. Then there's also this matter of spit or swallow. Let's say the woman does, some people call it blow job. I hope I'm not being too explicit about this matter. they call it blow job. The woman can do it for her husband, and they say, okay, should she spit it out if the man should drop some things in her mouth, or should she swallow it? That one is also a matter of individual differences and individual preferences. Some people, for example, when their wives are not available for them, let's say she's in her menses, and this man really wants to have himself satisfied, sometimes the woman can do the blow one for him so that he can be relieved of his tension. The man has traveled, he's come back from a journey, he really wants to have access to his wife, but the wife is in her menses, or the wife just delivered a child, she's still bleeding, and they don't have access to one another. And this man is not expected to commit zina. If this is the only way he can stimulate and satisfy himself, let the wife cooperate with him in that regard. It involves a lot of neatness, it involves a lot of cleanliness, for the husband to make himself clean and neat available for the wife, if this is what the wife enjoys and if the wife prefers it. If the man also enjoys it, he should also make himself available for the wife. However, the only one that is not acceptable is when you have to force your wife to do it for you. Some women have some irritation. Some women have some this thing doesn't give them any satisfaction at all. Some women don't just like it. And if your wife dislike it, please don't look down on her and don't punish her for that. Don't think she's rejecting you. It is just that some women don't like it naturally. They don't like it. And some women, that's what they want to start with. Before you even come into them, they want to do that because they feel good about it, and they make you also to feel good as a man about it. So it is not haram in Sharia for people to do this, so long as it is mutually understandable or mutually enjoyable or mutually preferred by the husband and wife, as a form of foreplay or as a form of substitute intimacy, if they are not both not available for one another. This is allowed. Then can the man do the blow job for the woman too? Yes, it's also allowed. If the man feels like doing that, there's nothing wrong with it for him to do so as far as Sharia is concerned. Don't say, no, I'm an imam. I use this mouth to read the Quran. I cannot use this mouth to your private part. No, there are different things. There are two different things entirely. So if the man doesn't mind, in fact, there's something they call 69. It's part of sexual position. 69 is, I want you to imagine 6 and 9. Yes, that is when the man and the woman are blowing each other simultaneously. The man is blowing her and the woman is also blowing him. If this is what gives them satisfaction, honestly, I do not have any proof that I know of that would say it is haram for them to do so. If this is going to give them this satisfaction, they are allowed to go ahead and satisfy each other for many reasons that are best known to them. Bedroom matters can be very wild sometimes. Bedroom matters can bring out the beast in people sometimes. And bedroom matters can bring out a lot of indulgence in people, so long as it is not haram for them. So long as, like we said, the only one I have proof for is for a man to have anal intercourse with the wife. Anal intercourse is totally haram. But when it comes to other aspects of positions, then they can indulge and enjoy themselves. It's not something they will do forever. Sometimes just a once in a while thing, just to spice things up, to make things look difficult, to express how much they desire each other. If this is done within what is allowed between husband and wife, then they can go ahead and indulge in it. But please, no party should force the other party. No party should compel the other party to participate in this thing. And this is the only way where we can say something can go wrong. But let me also encourage us to experiment. As a lady, you can't die if you do that for your husband. Nothing is wrong if you do that for your husband. If that is going to satisfy you, why not? Go ahead. And as a man, you cannot die if you do that for your wife once in a while, if that will give her a lot of satisfaction. In fact, some women can, as long as it's not haram, then you can go ahead and do whatever Allah has permitted both of you to do. These are strictly bedroom business, and husband and wife are free to do the best of what they can in this regard. So, blow job for husband by the wife is allowed, they can do that when it is necessary for them to do so. May Allah continue to guide us aright and forgive us for whatever error we must have committed in this regard.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. So from what I understand, so it is allowed for both the husband and wife to give each other. From what we know, there is no explicit evidence that make it haram for the wife to do it or for the husband to do it. That is what I understand from the answer of the Sheikh.
No.
So Sheikh, when it comes to something, a question coming from brother, he's asking, he said, yeah, Sheikh, please, is it permissible for a wife to use contraceptive without the husband's consent?
Yes, I lost the audio there. I didn't hear what you asked.
Okay, so the question is, yeah, Sheikh, please, is it permissible for a wife to use contraceptive without the husband's consent? That is the question.
Okay, the first answer is that it's not permissible. You should let your husband be aware that you are using contraceptive, the type you are using, how safe it is, and how you want it to be done. Let this be mutually agreed and understood by the husband and wife. In my own opinion, I think the wife needs to carry the husband along. Under normal circumstances, she should not deny him opportunity to have a child if the two of them so desire to do so. A lady can use contraceptive for a lot of reasons. Number one, it could be to space the children from one child to another. Number two, it could be to stop having children for the time being because of certain contingency that they have. Maybe she's sick and she needs to get well before she carries another pregnancy. Maybe she has to travel for education and carrying pregnancy on a long journey may not be good for her. There are many reasons that can make a woman to want to use contraceptive for her husband. What other reasons? There may be many other reasons why they do that. Maybe they have very terrible financial situation and they feel, let us not start having children yet. Or maybe both of us as students, we may not be able to complete our educations if we don't use contraceptives. But whatever the reasons are, I want to suggest that the wife should carry the husband along. Even if the husband should refuse, if the husband doesn't want it or he refuses, then she should consult those that can arbitrate between them. It is better for her to make the matter to be known to third parties that can admonish the two of them than for her to deceive him, than for her to use this without his consent. It's going to be like betrayal. It's going to be a thing that will not permit a lot of trust between them. The Quran says, وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا نُشُوزًا أَوْ إِعْرَاضًا فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا أَنْ يُصْلِحَا بَيْنَهُمَا صُلْحًا وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ. If a woman fears desertion or nushuz from her husband, there's no sin on them for the two of them to make sulhu between themselves. The meaning of sulhu is compromise between them. So if a woman, I'm using that verse to explain myself now. If a woman now fears that the husband will not agree for her to use contraceptive, then there's no sin on them for them to reach a compromise that, okay, what do you want? How do we prevent this? How do you want us to go about this? Contraceptive can also be that the man should wear condom, for instance. And some men will say, no, I can't wear it. No, I will not hear it. I would never wear it and things like that. No, it's because maybe they do not understand this matter between themselves. So a lot of education can be involved. They have to know why they are using this contraceptive. Now, what if the two of them know why they are using contraceptive, but the husband still disagrees that he doesn't want it? And the wife has very serious health reason and health implications for using this contraceptive. Should she still use it without his knowledge? I would still say no. It's better for us to resolve this matter. Let him understand. Let people that will talk to him, talk to him. Let people that will preach to him, preach to him. Let those that will convince him, convince him. Until when it comes to understand the importance of this matter. I'm saying this because I don't want husband and wife to lose trust in one another. I don't want husband and wife to start suspecting each other. And I don't want a wife to do something that may backfire tomorrow if the husband eventually finds out. So why will you be hiding? Why will you be keeping secret when you know that this thing is something that you have to do? And let me appeal to the men also. Honestly, ladies have some very, very personal reasons why they use contraceptives sometimes. I want brothers to please cooperate and take it easy. For example, a particular lady is treating infection because the husband has another wife and the other wife has some infection, and this infection is affecting this lady. It's affecting this madam. And she says, look, my husband, you can sleep with me, but you have to wear condom until when you are able to treat this infection. The man should understand. He should not be arrogant. He should remove his ego and do the right thing. Women, their bodies are very sensitive, very, very sensitive. A man can be carrying infection with him around for 5 years. It may not affect him in any way. But this bacteria or whatever things they are still inside the duct in her private part. And anytime he has intimacy with the wife, he gives this thing to her again and again. So we want men to fear Almighty Allah when it comes to this understanding between them and their wives. And of course, if it has to do with matter of childbirth or child spacing, take for instance now, Brother Yasir. This brother and sister, they got married. They did not know that the two of them are ASAS. As at the time they got married, they thought that the man was AA and the lady was AS. Only for them to later do some other tests and they discover that the man is AS and the woman happened to be AS. Luckily enough for them, they have gotten the first child that was AS, they got the second child that was AA. And now the wife is saying, let us not try it again because we might not be lucky this time around. Now you see, such a lady has some justification of fear for wanting the husband to allow her to use contraceptives. And the man is now saying, no, 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 no. How can we have only 2 children? We have to have like 15 children. No, I'm not satisfied with only 2 children. No, it is easy for the man to say this. But what of the woman that will be left alone to look after a sickling child? So that is why I say, let there be people that will intervene. Let the lady look for people who can talk to the husband until when he understands what is going on. And let me say this, that some of us may, well, it is strange too, but it may reach that extent because I can understand very well whoever asks this question is asking on behalf of so many people. The Quran says, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا فَإِن بَغَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى فَقَاتِلُوا الَّتِي تَبْغِي حَتَّى تَفِيءَ إِلَى أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. That if two believers should quarrel between themselves, they quarrel or they have misunderstandings or they have fight between themselves, فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا. Make sure you make peace of sulhu, of compromise between the two of them. But فَإِن بَغَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى, if one of them is trying to overpower the other one as a matter of oppression, فَقَاتِلُوا الَّتِي تَبْغِي حَتَّى تَفِيَ إِلَى أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. All of you, the whole ummah, or let me say the whole family, you should fight against the oppressor until when it comes to the matters of Allah, until when it comes to Amrullah, when it comes to the commands of Allah. Of wa'ashiruhunna bil ma'ruf, live with your wives with goodness and kindness. So sometimes it's not a matter of, okay, let everybody mind their business. This is my family, this is my wife. I can tell her what I want. No, Islamic marriage is not like that. If anybody is thinking like that, please remove it from your mind. The ummah or the families, they have the right to compel you as a man to do the right thing. They have the right to compel you to come back to the Amrullah, to come back to your senses. This is the reason why if a person commits adultery, the ummah, the sharia, will deal with the person. If a person should steal, the ummah will take retribution. If you oppress somebody, the ummah will oppress you back. So if you are oppressing a woman because of this kind of matter, based on what is supposed to be your quote and unquote personal matter, the ummah has the right, the families have the right to intervene and to defend the cause of justice between you and that woman. Almighty Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, awfu bil uqud. Or you will believe, fulfill all obligations. And obligations can go beyond your personal desire. You cannot just use a woman anyhow and say, this is the way I want it, she's my wife. She's your wife, but she's not your property. So you must fear Allah. And there's some people that will be able to do that for you. They can prevent you from oppressing her. They can prevent you from maltreating her. If this matter of contraceptives is something that is so serious or detriment to the health or survival of that lady, the whole family have the right to compel the man to allow her to use contraceptives. If we know that she's giving birth the first time through CS, giving birth second time through CS, giving birth third time through CS, and the doctors advise that any other pregnancy now can put her life in danger, that is, she can die because of this pregnancy, the man doesn't have any right to say she shouldn't use contraceptive. The Ummah can compel him to come to his understanding that, look, unless you want to lose the life of this woman, and her life is very, very important. So this is, I'm taking to the extremes now, that in case the man doesn't want to understand, then it is only in this situation that the woman may use contraceptive even without his knowledge, in order to save herself and to save her life. For us to know which is which, till the day of judgment, Allah is going to judge everyone, but people should not oppress each other, and they should not do zalimchi. They should not cheat one another. They should be fair, they should be kind to one another. Marriage in Islam is based on mawaddata wa rahma, love and mercy. There cannot be love without mercy. There cannot be mercy without love. If there's neither love nor mercy, then that marriage is not working. That means it has now given room for outsiders, for third parties to come in and maintain justice and order between the two of them. May Allah continue to guide us aright. This is just at the extreme case. May Allah assist us.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for this question. I think it encompasses almost everything about this, the matter of contraceptive. So we have another question, maybe the last question we will have. And the question says, Sheikh, if a woman finishes her menstruation, is it permissible to have intercourse before she have her spiritual bath? That is the
yes, before she does her ghusl, and we are sure 100% that she has completed her menses, right? Yes, if we are sure, what the Quran says is that a man should not come close to his wife until she reaches the tahara, until she's clean. You understand? The Quran says a man should not come close to his wife until when she's clean, when she has reached the stage of tahara. If she has reached tahara, it is one thing. But you know, she cannot make salat without the ghusl. Does anybody understand what I'm trying to say? She cannot make salat without ghusl, but she can have intercourse with her husband if we are very sure 150% that she has completed her menstrual cycle. This is an opinion. This is an opinion. And this opinion is only based on the small understanding that a woman cannot make salat until when she has had her ritual bath after her junub, and that's after her haid or nifas. But if after she has finished, let's say she has finished around the Isha, and she's very sure that everything is okay, she's 100% clean, and herself and her husband want to have intimacy sometime around before Subi, you know, the way some husbands do, before Subi, and they have intercourse with each other, fine, there's no problem. She will only do one ghusl, and one ghusl will cover the haid and the junub. That's the ghusl for completing her menses, and the ghusl for having slept with her husband. She will take only one ghusl, not two. Only one will clear it off, and then she can proceed for her subi prayer. This is the way I understand it, and Allah and His Rasul knows best about that. So it is, in my own opinion, they can go ahead once they are very sure that she has finished her menses, and I'm talking about 120% sure.
So I think since we don't have any more questions, I will ask you, Sheikh, to If you have anything to add, if you have something you would like to add and to conclude with, inshallah, then we can.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Likuli dawa'un, likuli da'in dawa'un." For every sickness, there's cure. Alamaha man alamaha wa jahilaha man jahilaha. Those who know it, they know it, and those who don't know it, they don't know it. I want us to understand that this matter of intimacy is very deep, is very broad. There are some natural inhibitions that some people have, it's not their fault. There are some dysfunctions that some people have. Most of these things can now be treated in the hospital. If you approach a family health practitioner as a man, there are many Muslim brothers now who are family health experts. They can tell you some medications to boost your power, so to speak. They can give you some recommendation of multivitamins that can make you to last longer with your wife. Not this gargaja thing people sell by the roadside that you can't be sure of, but scientifically, the ones that they can take your BP to be sure that if you take these things, it will not affect your high blood pressure. There are many ways medically and scientifically that you can improve your sexual ability as a man, including those who have what do they call it, premature ejaculation, including those who have a reverse ejaculation. That means some men, instead of them to ejaculate outside, they will ejaculate inside. It will go back into their private part. There are many ways of treating this. If the woman is not wet enough, if she's always dry, there are some recommended oils that she can use. Some of these things are halal, as prescribed by some of the medical people. If a woman has problem of frigidity, that means instead of her muscles, the muscle of her private part to expand, it continues to constrict. She may have very painful sexual intercourse. This one also can also be attended to by the medical expert. There are so many of our ladies who are gynecologists, they are experts in matters like this. They can advise what the woman can do to be able to reverse this process. Instead of having painful intercourse, then she can begin to have it easy. I also want to recommend to our brothers to please understand that this marital intimacy is Sunnah, and these wives, they have the right over us. Let us not be shy to learn more on how to satisfy them. Let us not be shy to ask them, how do you want me to satisfy you? Let us create time to enjoy ourselves, because the Prophet said, "Nama dunya kulluha mata'un wa khairu mata'iha al-imratu salihah." The whole of this dunya is enjoyment, and the best enjoyment is a righteous wife. And another verse of the Quran explains who a righteous woman is. فَالصَّالِحَاتٌ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهُ. A righteous woman is an obedient woman that guard her private part the way Allah wants her to guard it. A woman will only guard her private part if the man satisfies her. She is not going to be subjected to temptations by other people outside. Let a man find ways of satisfying the wife so that she can be able to guard her private part, guard her chastity. When the Quran talks about the mu'minun, qad aflaha al-mu'minun, the believers are successful. Nusratul mu'minun. Among the qualities of the believers is وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. Amongst them are those who guard their private parts. لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Please, this is exclusively for you and your husband alone, exclusively for you and your wife alone. So do all that is necessary to be able to satisfy each other, because you are not allowed to do this with somebody else, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance. And finally, I want us to understand that you may be enjoying yourselves now because of some circumstances. Some things may fail once in a while. Because of circumstances, you may not be able to derive the pleasure as much as you want. A lady may just put to bed, she just delivered a baby, she may not be available for her husband. Let the man be patient and fear Almighty Allah. A man may be traveling a lot because of his job. Let the woman also be patient for the sake of Almighty Allah, and see that she doesn't go out of her way to do anything that is haram. Sometimes we have goodness, sometimes we have the other one. Some things are phases. You are going to overcome the phase. After a while, you are going to keep away from all of these things and you continue to enjoy yourself. And also, second, finally, people should avoid keeping malice with one another. I just saw that question flashed in the screen now. If you must keep malice, it shouldn't be more than 1 or 2 or 3 days max. 3 days, go back to your wife. Please, brothers, don't keep malice with these women. For some men, they will keep malice for 1 week, for 2 weeks. Awuzubillah. Thank you, Sister Zainab Oshoke. It is insane. It is madness for a man to treat a woman that way. I'm not a scholar, but I'm almost going to say that it is haram for a man to abandon his wife for more than 4 days. For a man to abandon his wife for more than 4 days. During the time of Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, they asked, Umar asked Hafsa and said, for how long can a woman do without her husband? And Hafsa said, no matter what it is, a woman cannot do without her husband for more than 4 months. Anything after 4 months, it is enough for the woman to go to Sharia and ask for divorce. Now we hear of men who abandon their wives for 6 months, for 8 months. This is insane. It's not part of this deen that we know. It's not part of the Sunnah of Rasulullah that we know. So I want everybody to please try. Make your marriages work. Try your best. Forgive one another. And stop being stubborn for nothing. This stubbornness cannot get you anywhere. Have a heart of forgiveness. Forgive your wife, and let the wife also forgive her husband. Let us all have ceasefire from tonight. Let husband, stop quarreling. Let wife stop quarreling. Let us come together and do what we are expected to do as husband and wife. And I pray Allah will make it easy for all of us. If you are sick, please seek treatment. If you don't know, ask those who know. Keep away from pornography. They can be very addictive and they can be very destructive. Whatever it is, learn everything with your wife, learn everything with your husband, experiment with one another until when you reach a stage where you know the kind of things that truly satisfy both of you. Let men keep away from masturbation also. There can be mutual masturbation between husband and wife. Let husband do it for the wife, let wife do it for the husband. If you have any reason for not having intimacy, this is something that can just be for a short while. And may Allah make it easy for all of us and forgive us where we are wrong. Please, most of those things that I say are my own opinion. Please keep it as opinion. If you get any other opinion that is much better than that, please stick to it, because I'm not a superman with marital intimacy. There are some people that know better than I do. And one rule doesn't cover all couples. There are shades and varieties of differences between husband and wife, which this discussion may not be able to cover your own personal and individual matter. So approach those who are therapists, approach those who know about this, so that they can address your own particular matter, your own particular issue, and Almighty Allah is going to guide you to do the best in every regard. May Allah forgive me and may Allah forgive you too. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Jazakallahu khair,
Ameen wa
Ustaz
yakum.
Abdulfatah, for this very wonderful discussion. As for those that may come out
Shukran.
later and still ask the same question that our brother Ibrahim Hamza asked, why are we discussing this topic? I just will have to tell you that this is one of the most important topics that need to be discussed in our society. When it comes to marriage, it is the most important topic, because marriage is what brings, what grows the society, is what helps the societies grow. And if the marriages are done well, then the societies will become better societies. And when there are problems in marriages, then there is going to be problems in the society. So it's a necessary topic. And one should understand that Islam is not some it's not a religion that doesn't is a religion that encompasses everything about our life. And scholars have written a lot about these matters. If you don't know, go ask your scholars. People like Ibn Qayyim in his Zad al-Ma'ad have a full chapter, Hadiyuhi sallallahu alayhi wasallam fil jima', the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam when it comes to marital intimacy. There are books like Asrarul Jima' that were written just on that topic. There are books that were written by people like Imam Suyuti about these matters. So we are not discussing something that is a taboo topic. We are the ones that made it into a taboo topic, and it doesn't have to be. And it being a taboo topic is what is causing a lot of problem in our society when it comes to this issue. There are many people that are falling into extramarital affairs, both males and females, both males and females, people falling into this issue even before they get married. So this is a very important topic. We just touched the surface here today, and there are many ways one can understand. I can remember before I even get married, one of my sheikhs says to me, he's telling us that before he get married, he read about 200 books about marriage. And from then, I put it on myself to read about 200 books before I get married. And I read as much as I can. At that time, I ask a lot of people. So, and there are many books, as I said, that were written on this issue, on this matters. Don't be, Allah said, ask, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا
In
تَعْلَمُونَ. If
kuntum
you
la
don't know,
ta'lamun.
ask just that knows.
Mm.
Now, Ustaz Abdulfatah is here. He knows a lot of this, and I will ask him after this to give us his contacts, where we can find him on Facebook, maybe on Twitter, on Instagram, so that people that are that want to ask questions can ask Ustaz Abdulfatah. I myself can help and can refer people back to Ustaz Abdulfatah when it comes to this type of matters, and other brothers that are into these issues. There are sisters that are doing this, that knows a lot of this, that can help sisters, and there are brothers that can help brothers. This is a very important matter, and it is very important that we give it time to learn about it, to know about it, so that we will help ourselves and help our society by doing that. Sheikh, sorry, before we complete, please can you tell us where people can find you, and how can they get in touch with you so that they can uh, uh, ask you questions and get help on you on this issue?
All right, thank you. You can easily reach me on my WhatsApp number, where we can chat, we can discuss, and if we need to discuss with husband and wife, we can go into a Zoom room and we discuss privately. If you are far away from where I am. My office is in Anur Mosque in Wuse 2, Abuja. You can come there and just ask after me. And my number is 0803 234 6721. 08032346721. 08032346721. Of course, if you are outside the country, yes, that's the correct number. 08032346721. If you're outside the country, of course, you put the +234 before the 8032346721. We can chat, we can discuss on WhatsApp. Just be patient with me. Sometimes if you send a chat, I would like to know your name. The reason why I like to know your name is so that I can always track our discussion, so that I can come back to give you reply. Or if there's anything I discover, I can always notify you about it. That's the reason why if you send me chat, please include your name so that I can save your number. I'll be able to track our discussion. I receive a lot of messages sometimes from people that I don't know their names. I only see their number. So somebody, I'll give them a reply and they'll get angry with me that I will start. You didn't even ask after me about the matter of the other time. I'll say, no, it's because I couldn't trace your number again. So Allah has blessed me. I hardly forget what I discussed with you. If I know your name and your number, and it's strictly private, it's 100% only me that will read your message. Sometimes I will ask you to send voice note so that you can express yourself better. And then privately, I can listen to it, and privately, I can discuss with you based on your own matter itself. I also want you to please help me. If this matter is for you, let me know that you are the one asking this question. Don't say, one of my friends is having so problem in their husband's place, and then you be asking questions as if you're asking on behalf of somebody else. I normally insist that, look, are you the one that's having this problem? Okay, let us discuss it like this. I can ask you certain questions that may give me a better idea on what I can recommend for you to do. Some of the books that Ustaz Yasir was mentioning just now, I can even refer you to some of them to say, okay, read this one, read that one, read that one. If it's something that is medically inclined, I can look for a trusted Muslim medical doctor that can refer you to as, okay, discuss with this person. He has more knowledge in this matter. He's going to assist you about it. So let's do this for one another. And I pray Allah will make it easy for us. So let's make it WhatsApp chat alone. And no matter how long it is, if sometimes um, I may have to read about 3,000 messages, I will still find time to read one by one each of those messages. I do that. Alhamdulillah, Allah has made it to be very easy for me to do so. I spend about 2 or 3 hours every day, reading some of these messages and responding. So if you send the chat, be patient with me. If you don't get a response, please don't be tired. Still send me another reminder so that somehow along the line, I'll be able to fulfill my duty to you as a Muslim brother. And may Allah forgive us wherever we are wrong. May Allah pardon our mistakes. I want to thank the organizers for the opportunities you have given me to discuss with us tonight. And I pray Allah will reward you all abundantly. And I pray Allah will forgive us wherever we are wrong. And whatever mistake we have made, may Allah please forgive us and accept whatever goodness in it as act of ibadah from all of us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We thank you very much for responding to our invites and for giving us great discussion. I think people will benefit a lot from this. So please, for our listeners and those that are watching us, please share this with your family members. Please don't feel anything. Share it with others. Share it and press the like button so that it will be visible to other people that in your cycle, so that people can see it and watch it and benefit from it also. Please do this. Sorry, Chef, you do not mention your podcast. I heard that you have a podcast.
Yes, there's just I don't know how to send the link to you, but just type my name, Abdulfatah Adeyemi. You'll see some of my podcasts. I've got a couple of lectures there that I'm sure will be very, very useful. Some of them are 1 hour lectures long. I will have a particular that's about 2 hours lecture explaining. So your questions and suggestions may even determine the next things I have to post for everybody to get hold of. I want Brother Radin Usman to also assist me in forwarding some of these podcasts to others so that we can share them. They are absolutely free. You can also search for my lectures on Muslim Central. You'll see some of those things I try to explain there. And yes, my website was down for a short while. I will bring it up again. And if you are able to connect with me, I will send you all of my links to other things I do. You can also find me on YouTube. But the only thing is that messages there are very general. But if you have your own specific thing that you need, then you can reach me directly. But I believe by the time you listen to all of the podcasts, you will have found 1 or 2 answers to your questions there. May Allah make it easy for us. Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair. This is it. This is about it. We have been keeping Sheikh here for about 2 hours.
Yes, my wives are already smiling towards me from distance.
So
that's why I came to.
them. We apologize.
Yes, that's why I came to hide in the masjid here to talk to you people for this long like this.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We thank you very much. And we even thank your wife. They are going to they are surely going to share in the reward of the benefit that brothers and sisters.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
So this is it for now, and until next time, you can find more lectures that we did before on our YouTube and on Facebook. You can contact us on our Twitter, Instagram, or go to our website. Assalamu alaikum. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.